Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Hey, man, what's going on, Coach? You doing all right?
I'm hanging in there, Johnny.
You
How's it
hanging
going,
in there?
bro?
Man, it's going good, man. I'm glad we had to get this opportunity to chop it up, man. We ain't seen each other in a long time.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute, Coach. We were young boys.
Yeah, young and
Hey,
stupid.
and doing young things.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean? Man, just
Yeah.
real quick, man. I know we behind time a little bit, and I know you got to get back out there. I just want, Kevin Porter's an American football coach as well as a American football player. Played defensive back at Kansas City Chiefs. That's where we met, and the New York Jets, and then, of course, in the National Football League. Went on to start playing Canadian football. And played was a head coach over in the Arena Football League. And shoot, man, coach, you've had several head coaching jobs. You
Yeah,
know,
been
and
around.
you were born in New York.
Hmm.
How did you guys get to Alabama? I know you went to Auburn, big
Yeah.
time.
Well, when I was I lived the first 11 years of my life in the Bronx, New York. Uh, all of my family, extended family, had lived in Georgia. My mom and dad had actually moved from Georgia to New York. So when I was 11 years old, we moved back to Georgia.
Oh, okay. Now, you went to high school out in Georgia, right?
Yeah, I went to high school at Warner Robins High School in Warner Robins, Georgia.
Oh man. And how did you get? You mean to tell me Georgia let you go to Auburn?
Hey,
Was
you
it a
know,
recruiting war?
it was a pretty good recruiting war, but I think that like a lot of these young guys, I mean, recruiting is a little different today than it was then, as I'm sure you know. But
Oh wow.
a lot of guys just sometimes you go someplace and it has a lot to do with the guy that's recruiting you, who helps you understand and makes you understand all of your opportunities from one place to the next place. So I had a great guy recruiting me, and when I went to Auburn, it felt like home. So that's where I ended up.
Yeah. One thing about the show, Kevin, is to try to bring out the goodness of coaches with color. So oftentimes we get overlooked, or so oftentimes that they don't think that our football field is 100 yards long and 53 yards wide. And a lot of times, really, where the great coaches is at smaller levels. It's easy to get fat when you got your meat, your potatoes, and all your stuff right there in the plate. But when you got
Right,
to go find it,
right.
and make a little bit over here and make a little bit over here, you get kind of get overlooked. And
Not only find it, but get them coached up.
yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of talented kids out here that you know are good football players, good athletes. But I mean, you have to find kids and integrate them into your system and keep supporting them and make sure that they're going to be able to be productive and thrive in your system. So no, I get it.
yeah. Now, coach, you came out of Georgia. Back when we came out, it wasn't no stars and newspapers and
Yeah.
articles and rankings and you know. So if you had to rank yourself coming out of high school, what star would you be? Five, four? Would you
Come
sign
on,
an
man.
NLI?
Yeah, a 5 star with all the NLI bread.
Hey, we probably wouldn't even be talking.
That's right.
Coach, playing at Auburn, in the best conference, when you were a player, in today's time. I mean, how you think at 18 years old, I'm sitting on $1 million in LI.
I know, really.
I'm driving a car fancier than the coach's car,
Right, and it's legal.
and, and it's legal.
And it's legal.
You getting me there, coach. You're getting me there.
Yeah.
Some of y'all drove great cars back in the day. It's just
So plead the
so now you started your career off at Advil College. Got your first head coaching job. After you have came out of coaching arena ball. Uh, you know, how did you go about? Because you're one of the rare guys that I've had on my show that actually had multiple head coaching jobs, being a coach of color.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my first opportunities obviously were in the Arena Football League. And I was in the Arena Football League for a while, almost 10 years. And, it was my goal to be a head coach. So, after being at in the Arena Football League shuts down. I took a coordinator position at a local NAIA school when I was still living in Kansas City at Mid-American Nazarene University. I was there for 1 year, and then the following year I got a head coaching job in that same conference. So I think it was fortunate, me having played in Kansas City and lived in Kansas City.
Yeah.
To be able to get a head coaching job at one of the one of the NAIA schools in the state, really. So just a lot of things worked out in my favor, on that particular situation. But moving forward, I took a position as the head football coach after that at Point University, which was a startup, and then was there for a couple seasons. Then wanted to try to make the jump to the NCAA, so I took a coordinating position at West Georgia, which at that time was one of the best Division IIs in the country. They had everything that you would want in a Division II school. Great facilities, great academics, great academic and athletic support. So that's what it was a good situation. Then after that, I kind of got into the HBCU ranks. My one of my good friends, Steve Davenport, was the head coach at Savannah State. So I went to Savannah State for a summer. Worked with Steve for a little while. Just kind of got into HBCUs that way, and that experience really let me know that that's probably the route that I needed to take. It was probably the route that was going to allow me to really affect the outcomes of lives of and expect the outcomes and lives of of kids that look like me, that kind of grew up in similar situations as me. So from then on, hey, I've been HBCU ride or die since then.
Yeah. Well, we gave you a little taste of it. You should have added it when you came down to visit old Coach Cole here. We had a great time. I think we 23, 24, 25 years old.
Young cats. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Coach, you coach I know you played in the secondary.
Yeah.
With some great people at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Bell and Albert Lewis and J.C. Pierce. And I'm a Kansas City man. I've been loving Kansas City since 1963.
Yeah. Hey, my man, Albert Lewis.
Albert Lewis.
Grambling University is going into the Black College Football Hall of Fame this year. That's my guy.
Wow. That's big. That's big.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
big. And it's actually in Canton. You might get a chance to ride up if y'all not playing or if y'all playing at home that week.
Actually, we're playing that week in the Chicago Football Classic.
Okay.
We actually played Canton in Canton last year. Played Winston-Salem State.
Yeah.
Was fortunate to be able to get into that game and get our kids some real exposure. Got to play on national television, so it was a great day for us.
Yeah. And now you're at Central State, and I just want you to know I grew up down the street from Dayton, Ohio. I had 3 brothers now play for Central State, and man, I grew up. That's my first taste of HBCU football, and it's been some legends there. How's it going? How was spring practice for you this year?
It's still going. We got 4 more practices. We'll play our spring game this Saturday on the 22nd. But it's been going well. I think I got hired. 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 I got hi hired last year, I didn't get on campus until January, so
Wow.
January a year ago. So we were able to, get to know the the area, really get to know the expectations from the alumni.
Oh
They,
yeah, yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
the football alumni, a lot of the alumni here at the university, they all harken back to a period of time where Central State wasn't just playing football, but Central State was playing football at an extremely high level,
Yeah.
winning the national championship and playing in the championship games and things like that. Sending guys to the NFL, having great players be a part of the program. So um, like I said, got here in January, got to experience that. Wasn't much different uh, than my experience at Fort Valley. With
Right.
extremely high expectations for the football program. Uh, but like I said, we got here really. The program was in a rough spot.
Hmm.
The previous year they had signed 26 freshmen, I think it was. When we got here, 22 of those 26 were ineligible. So
Wow.
really almost lost an entire recruiting class. But
Hmm.
hey, you play the cards you dealt with. Got our team together. We won 3 football games last year. Lost 5 by 12 points or less. So
Yeah.
we just trying to get competitive initially, and then teach our kids how to play hard and play to the end. Try to play within the system, and then hopefully, we've been able to transfer some guys in, and then we played a bunch of freshmen last year. So we've got a good nucleus on the football team. We just got to keep growing it and seeing if we can get it back to the level that the alumni expect and the
Yeah.
president.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw you some key names out. James Woody was the quarterback during those days.
I
You
know
know, he's a
Woody.
big enough. Yeah. Ivan Seahorn, major player. He actually coached me uh, at Texas Southern University, and I've told you about my brothers. They there to help, and I definitely stop by when I go visit my mom. She's turning 90 this year, so.
Bless her.
Hey, look, she gonna drive up there. She's contrarian too. So you got a lot of support up there. Again, the Dayton area is full of some good athletes, and man, you got your hands full when you lost a recruiting class. And
Yeah,
I understand that they've done some great things for you. Can you add some of the things they've done? I think they gave you more coaches now and more
yeah,
scholarships and some
yeah.
tools
Well,
to
I
work.
mean, uh, President Jack Thomas is our president is a former student athlete at Alabama State. So he understands what it takes to have a program be successful, and he's committed not just to football but to all of our programs being successful. I think that if you look at the last 10 years in all of our programs, we've struggled at times. I think
Mhm.
our volleyball, but we're getting better. Our volleyball team won the conference. Central State men's volleyball won the conference last year, second in the conference this year. So some of the programs are moving forward, but the president is serious. So he's provided us with the resources to excuse me, to continue to push all of these programs forward. They've built a brand new weight room here on campus for the athletic department, which is tremendous. I would put it up against any weight room in Division II. It's that nice.
Wow.
So
Wow.
before we got here, they had actually turfed our field and gave us a turf field in our football on our football playing surface. So a lot of good things that are happening. Um, we just have to continue to recruit well, recruit good kids, recruit good families, make sure that the kids that we're recruiting understand the history of the program, understand the history of the university, and understand the expectations that are at the top, top of the food chain, so to speak, and make sure that we go out and get that done. And I
Yeah.
think that I think we've made good progress. We just have to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and you talked about your future a little earlier when we had a chance to chop it up a little bit, and so many times that black coaches have been getting overlooked. or coaches of color, I should say that. And my argument was always, let's stop trying to shoot at the NFL when we can actually shoot at the colleges and universities. Because
Mm-hmm.
they're being federally funded and state funded, and just on the athletic side, the playing field is not there for coaches of color. You got some universities, and we call them PWIs. Some universities that's never even had a black coach anywhere, or a coach of color anywhere, and that's the unfairness. What do you tell or what would you tell a young guy that looks like me and you, that wants to get in coaching these days?
Well, it's like, and I'm sure you know this, Johnny. I mean, it's a fraternity. You know, you have to you have to get to know the guys that are in the business. Um, I think that it's a lot of times to speak on what you're talking about. It's not what you know; it's who you know. You know, and some of the institutions that you talk about, we don't know anybody.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
so no matter where you come from, like I said, I went to Auburn, and you got a lot of guys that are out here that uh, have gone to these schools, but again, we don't know anybody on the inside, and for me, really just kind of spending a lot of time focusing on my personal situation. It was I played in the NFL and have some good credentials to be a head football coach. But for me, it was where can I go and make the biggest impact on kids that look like me that were in similar situations. And once like I said, once I got to Fort Valley, I was at Savannah State. Now I'm here at Central. Uh, you know, these are the schools that I feel like I can make the biggest impact on. Really to impact the kids. To make sure that they understand that um, if you do get an opportunity, or if you're good enough to get an opportunity, it doesn't matter where you play at. They got guys that make hundreds of thousands of dollars to find you, and they will find you.
Mhm.
But you got to put in the work, and you got to get do things that will put you on the radar. And then just to get off topic a little bit, I think that what Doug Williams and Shaq Harris and those guys have done with the Legacy Bowl and with the HBCU Combine has been a fantastic element. It gives all of our kids an opportunity to, or really gives them a goal to work towards, because they know that if they play hard enough, if they do enough good things, by the time they become a senior, they'll get an opportunity to go and work out in front of all 32 NFL teams. They'll get an opportunity to play in the Legacy Bowl and showcase what they can do. Uh, and it's only going to get bigger and better, and more kids that are getting that kind of exposure will get an opportunity to play at the next level. I mean, shoot, it ain't like when me and you was playing, Cole, where it's one league. It's four leagues now.
Yeah. Hey, one All American game and all that. It
That
went a
was
whole
it.
bunch. Yeah. Everybody got an All-Star game now in the combine. I mean, Coach, looking at your background, and you actually played at a PWI in Auburn, top of the food chain in this game, uh, and coming out of Auburn, and now that you're a HBCU coach and you've been around, can you kind of talk about the things that help you coming from Auburn and also hurt you as you went in the pro league, as opposed to coaching at a school now that looks like you, that some of these kids do have those opportunities to go up there? Because when you look back on the history of the league, and you see players that's getting in trouble in the street on the offs, they usually come from the PWI schools and not from the HBCU schools. So maybe
Right.
you can kind of elaborate, the nurturing you get from the HBCU as opposed to the PWI.
Yeah. Well, I think that the biggest thing from my perspective, from what I have seen, is at the at in at our level. in our realm of HBCUs, there is a lot more personal attention, you know, academically, athletically. Um, we just have, we have a different relationship with our kids, uh, and that's part of, I mean, it's almost like you're doing a couple of different jobs. You're doing a parent job with all of your kids. You're also a teacher to all of your kids. So my goal is to set an example that and set an example that's a really high bar for all of our kids. You know, if I had a choice, or if I was a kid that had a choice, I would want them to look at me as a role model. Hey, a kid that was living in inner city New York City, moved to a small town. Well, it ain't so small now, but in Warner Robins, Georgia, and was able to get to get to one of the best conferences in college football, and then beyond that, get to the NFL level and be able to stay there for a while. But I'd also make sure that they understand, hey, I got 2 degrees, I got a bachelor's degree, I got a master's degree, and if I didn't have really both of those, I wouldn't be able to have the job that I have right now. So they've got to understand what's important, and have a plan B, and that plan B has to be rooted really in education.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I guess kind of share your experiences at Auburn. I mean, it was like football was the main ingredient.
Absolutely.
And let's just say you talking to your recruit. You coming in my house talking to my son. Why should I go with HBCU or smaller school instead of coming to a SEC or the ACC?
Well, hey, I think the again, like I said, personal attention. Here, you're not gonna get lost in the shuffle. It's not. We don't. We not scholarshiped up, so there ain't gonna be five stars at your position.
Hey,
You know, but
hey, what you say?
you'll get
No
that.
NLI deals either, huh?
Right. It won't be. Well, it might get a little one, but it won't be in the million range.
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, you'll get personal attention. You'll be able to actually have a relationship with your coaches. You have a relationship with the head football coach, with me. Uh, my door is always open to my kids. I know all my kids personally, and I think that's really important because it helps me. It helps me gauge what's going on in their life every day. I've got guys that I can look at them because I know them and be like, hey, what's wrong with you today? There's something wrong. Hey, you want to come upstairs? Let's talk about it. Um, so I think that's one of the big motivating factors uh, for student athletes to consider going to an HBCU. Not alone, and again, you know, it's an HBCU. It's a lot of stuff going on campus here, bro.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
probate
Oh,
this
yeah.
week.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
so it's festive.
Well, coach, portal. This is the big thing now. The portal. Actually, the big schools now are recruiting schools like yours, and it's almost afraid not to put your best player up for all conference because if he wins, he might not be there next year. Do you
This is
think it's
true.
good for college football or?
I think it's good and bad. I think that again, when you go back, Johnny, to when we were playing, it's signed to go to that school. You had no choice but to stay there, man. No matter
Right,
how they were
right,
treating you. You know
right,
what I'm
right,
saying? Or how you
right.
felt you were being treated. You had to stay. You didn't have a choice. And I think now, uh, they've got choices, which is always great when you've got choices. But uh, I think it it really I don't think it hurts us nearly as much as it does some of the high school kids, because now I mean, you're a football coach, and your job is on the line every day. You're gonna trust your job to a freshman, or go in the portal and get a kid that's been there, done that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
so it's. I see both sides of it, but
Here's what hurt me about it, Coach. And you it's nobody talks about the kid that they take the scholarship from to clear the room. That's what hurts to me. And
no,
I
I
think
get it.
it's serious, and then you got a parent, or a parent that doesn't make that much money was depending on their kid to go to this. And you made some great points about watch where you go and the personal thing. And I'm glad we're talking about that. But that kid that didn't develop fast enough at that big time level, then now
Hmm.
they bringing him in office saying, hey, you didn't develop, or they'll come up with some reason to say you're not on scholarship anymore.
Right.
Nobody talks about those kids.
No, and you're exactly right. And I think that um, if you're going to be a kid that uh, ends up in the portal, you have to understand that what you have done is basically you made a business decision, uh, and moving on, being in the portal to going to a different school. Hey, that's another business decision, and you have to be constantly looking out for yourself, constantly trying to put yourself uh, in the best situation. Sometimes the place that's offering you the most money may not be the best situation. So uh, it's it's a lot of it's a lot of
You know,
facets to that transfer portal, man.
and I hope some parents listen to the story and listen to you and stuff like that, because it's more than you think. Because what it hurts me too, or hurts the coaching part, and you can, of course, I want your comment on it. It takes away from disciplined coaches that stand for something. You're up in your face kind of coach.
Oh
The
yeah,
coach to say, "Hey man, this is it's our way, not your way." And then next thing you know, a kid's gone.
right. No, and uh, to be completely honest with you, you're coaching a different kind of kid today. You know, different kind of kid that has access to a lot of information. Um, that has access to people giving them information. A lot of people in their ear. But you know, we grew up in an era where if your coach told you to do something, you pretty much did it. You
Right,
know, the kids that we're coaching now, well, they want to know, well, why, and I get that.
right.
I have no problem explaining why, because I'm confident in my ability to explain why you should be in the B gap and not in C gap. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right, right.
but like I said, it's just a different breed of kids. That's not bad or good. That's neither here nor there. They just grown up in a different generation than we have, and we have to be able to do do a couple things. We have to continue to be able to coach them like our high school coaches coached us, which was very hard. But also understand that they have uh, different outlook. They get their information differently than we did. Um, I mean, Johnny, I got two kids. I got one that's 24 and one that's 19. So
Right.
two boys. So I get it.
Right. Look, hey, look, I got four, so two
Yeah,
girls and two boys, and man, I'm battling with them boys late. It's
yeah,
easy raising them, but then when they got out there and started sniffing themselves, boy, it got tough. You know,
absolutely.
because my style is I'm a disciplinarian coach.
Yeah,
We're gonna look the same, we're gonna dress the same, we're gonna move to the same tune. And I
right.
just think that's important. But
Yeah.
uh,
We're
you
not
know,
going out here on national TV dressed like no clowns. It ain't gonna be no clown show.
yeah.
We all gonna look the same.
It really exposes the NCAA, because now all of a sudden It ain't about a kid graduating. That's way down the line now. It's about a kid making money, getting paid. It's about a kid that well, I don't like this coach. Let me
Right.
jump over here and let me jump over here. That's kind of out. So it does put pressure. When you look at the divisions, it puts a lot of pressure. On the higher divisions on getting those kids. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it really opens doors for Central States and because there's a lot of high school kids. I still get a lot of calls, Kevin. From
Mm-hmm.
parents or people about nobody is signing my kids. Nobody is talking to them. And you got to tell them, look, you either got be patient or you got to take one of those Division 1, Double A, Division 2, Division 3 schools.
Right. Oh, no doubt. Because the Division 1 kids are moving around like it's NFL free agency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And not just in football, in basketball, and all the sports. They're jumping from place to place. Um, and like you said earlier, the school that some of these transfer kids end up going to puts another kid in jeopardy, and then he has to figure out somewhere where he's going to go and play. So uh, it's like I said, we're all learning. I mean, we all learning on the fly.
Then, Coach, you got drafted in 1988. In the third round? Can you
Yep.
believe that these college kids are making more money than you when you made and you was a third round draft choice and they're freshmen in college?
That's I ain't even thought about that, but that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Can you imagine when
Yeah,
you came out, boy, you had you some money, you
yeah,
know? And I'm
some real
18
money.
now. Now I got $100,000. What I'm gonna do with $100,000 or $1 million?
Right. Yeah, shoot, that's where and hey, especially young kid, young guy with all that with that kind of bread, that's where parenting has to take over because
Yeah,
you and I know, you one play away.
yeah, yeah. I get worried about this, and you don't have an NIL player yet. I don't know. I get worried about kids being immature and getting jealous of a kid like that.
Oh
And
yeah,
I hate to see it coming, but I think it's gonna come in where some kid is gonna get hurt behind that. Having that type of money, and this kid is feeling like I should be that person. Does that concerns you or have that crossed your mind?
it hasn't, but shoot, let's hope it doesn't come to that. But like I said, again, they got access to way more information than we had, you know.
Right, right.
So and they are constantly measuring themselves against their peers.
Mhm.
I don't think we did that a whole lot growing up. You looked at another guy and was like, okay, well, yeah, that guy's good,
Right,
you know,
right,
uh,
right, right,
and
right.
and 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 kept it moving.
Okay.
I don't know if they do that now.
I'm putting you on the hot seat. The biggest thing was the last part of the women's basketball, where the one girl did it at another game, and then the girl from LSU came and she not only did it, but she kind of taunted the girl a little bit.
Yeah,
You the coach, do you say something to your girl about it, or And I know we both played this game, and it's a
right.
competitive game, and sometimes you can be fired up in the middle of the game. But
Hmm.
one thing you always got to do is act like you've been there. Do you
Right.
say something to her, or what do you say to her, or what's your take on that scenario?
Well, like I said, first of all, LSU, the women's basketball was dominant, throughout that tournament. So, uh, I get it. Hey, it's the nature of competition. I think that there are times when we're competing or when athletes are competing that it could go too far. Uh, I don't think that was too far. Hey, she happy she just won a national championship, man. I get it. Coach might say, you don't have to do that. That's unnecessary. But
Right,
um,
right,
hey, she's like, hey, I'm the best player in the world right now.
Yeah. I think a lot of non-athletes took that too far. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, we both played, and you played in the secondary, and got catch a touchdown on you. You gotta, what I mean? Because when you intercept one,
right.
you on the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I always tell them DBs, don't be shaking hands with them wide receivers because as soon as they score, they're gonna be dancing and throwing the ball and doing all of this, and then you're gonna be sitting there looking stupid.
Yeah,
Don't be
yeah,
friends
yeah,
with them, man.
yeah.
They're not your
Yeah,
friend. They fake.
yeah. Man, I tell you, we met a long time ago through a mutual friend of ours, Daryl Colbert, who's now the
Hmm.
head coach at down in Beaumont. Have you had a chance to speak with him?
I hadn't talked to DC in a minute,
Okay, I'm about to.
but I had you need to connect me. Also need to connect me with my man Floyd.
Floyd doing movies now. I
Get
had to
out of
see.
here.
I had to see you the clip of the mute of the movie he in. It's him and his brother.
Him and his brother were
Yeah, yeah,
always
yeah. They
together
tight.
on something.
Yeah, they tight. They tight. They tight. Man, I apologize the first part of the show, but we definitely gotta kick it again, coach, because I want to make sure that Citrus State is on the map.
No
I don't know
doubt.
if you know I coached at Lane College as well.
Yes, sir, I do.
Last time they had a winning season, coach. I
Hmm.
mess with Coach down there, Vernon Brown, but he's put it together. And
He's not doing. Vern's doing a great job. I think he's done a good job recruiting. I think that he's brought uh, he's brought a lot of attitude to the football program there, which a lot of attitude, a lot of energy, which I think was needed. Uh, you know, uh, you know, they had been, Derek had done a great job just keeping the program afloat. To be honest with you,
right,
uh, but I think that Burrows was able to keep it moving, and I think that you know coach has done a good job really bringing a lot of energy to the program, and I think that he's in a similar situation that we were in last year.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
gotta get new energy, new blood, and uh, and get it moving in the right way.
yeah. Well, coach, you being a defensive back, and we coming to the end. Man, they say you throw the ball, you be on the bus throwing the ball. Now,
Yeah,
is it just your offensive coordinator you got? Is it your philosophy? You're a defensive guy, man, and a,
I
and a
know,
DB.
man. Hey, it's counterintuitive to really who I am, but uh, it's the that I hired that coordinator, a guy named Buddy Blevins, is a run and shoot guy, and
Oh, okay, okay.
I remember, and this is crazy, Cole. I remember the only two times that I had played against the run and shoot in the NFL was when Warren Moon was in Houston
Mm.
and Jim Kelly was in Buffalo,
Oh,
and they lit us up both times. And like I said, we had one of the best secondaries in the world,
wow,
and they lit
wow.
us up both times with that run and shoot with Haywood Jeffries and all of them guys. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was in
Yeah,
Houston at that time. But
yeah. So when he said, "Hey, coach, we can run and shoot and be productive," I was all for it. I think that it helps us. The offensive production helps us recruit kids. I mean, receiver wise, running backs, those guys know that they're going to get a bunch of touches. Just not going to be three or four guys getting all the balls. I mean, shoot, we had five guys catch 30 balls last year. You know,
wow,
so
wow,
they know they're going to get touches. So they
wow.
want to. It's not a tough sell to recruit to it. So
Oh, wow, wow. Well, man, I tell you what, you exciting. My brother's over at Allen. You guys play Allen again this year?
we do. I think we're
Okay.
playing week 4.
Well, make sure you pad up your quarterback because he'll
Yeah,
he'll he'll take some shots that
yeah.
game.
He
You
and he
know.
playing zero on the back end. He don't care.
Hey,
He don't
hey,
care.
that's
He
a
got
that's
ice
a
water
defensive
running through his veins.
yeah, that's a defensive backs dream to lock up the whole game, but
Plan zero, baby, coming to get you.
yeah, y'all, hey, guys, coach, y'all play exciting football in SIAC. I'm gonna continue to follow you, coach, and I wish you well, and we'll be in touch definitely. I'm gonna have to send my brother them up there to make sure if you need, have my mama cook you one of them old good old meals.
Hey, be careful, because I'll show up on Sunday now.
Hey, she used to cook it for 9 boys for
That's
for
right.
30-some years. Well, I'm 60, great turn 60 now. So, yeah, we definitely need to have you down, and you get to meet our family, and we kind of date boys and can help you out in that recruiting area.
Yeah. Well, hey, bro, anytime you're over here, man, come through.
Okay, thank you, coach.
All right, man.
Peace. All right. All right, final remarks. Again, that's Kevin Porter. Not only is he an outstanding man, outstanding person, he's a very good friend of mine. I've been knowing him over 30 years. So we wish him well. Show got off to a slow start, but hey, like I always tell you, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, you tie a knot and hold on tight. Ain't nobody bad like you.
My name is James and I won $500 on the lunch money from the Keeping Up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
It's Sybil Wilkes with What You Need to Know. It's Monday. Yep, we're back at it. April 24th, 2023. Number 1. While House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has yet to present a budget for the United States, he has taken his pen to slash programs in order to avoid the country's pending debt crisis. The Speaker presented a 300-plus page bill, the Limit, Save, Grow Act, which he proposed $4.5 trillion in spending cuts and a $1.5 trillion increase in the debt limit. The idea, according to Democrats, is to eliminate changes in the programs initiated by President Biden, especially during the pandemic, that's helped middle-class and lower-class families, while providing tax giveaways for the wealthy. Number 2, on what was supposed to be the third and final day of a ceasefire during the Muslim holiday, U.S. military forces completed President Biden's orders by safely evacuating almost 100 U.S. embassy personnel from Khartoum, the capital of Sudan. News reports indicate 100 U.S. Special Operations troops and 3 helicopters went in to complete evacuation Saturday, as the U.S. Embassy temporarily shut down operations due to conflict between 2 rival military commanders. At least 400 civilian deaths have been reported, including 1 American killed in crossfire. Number 3, uterine fibroids are non-cancerous growths of the uterus that often appear during the childbearing years. Fibroids are not associated with an increased risk of uterine cancer and almost never develop into cancer. Fibroids range in size from small growths that can only be detected with ultrasound to bulky masses that can distort and enlarge the uterus. And in extreme cases, multiple fibroids can expand the uterus so much that it can be the size of a full-term pregnancy. In the U.S., an estimated 26 million women between the ages of 15 and 50 have uterine fibroids, and that's especially true of Black women. Read more about it in today's newsletter. Number 4, LaShawn Thompson was a 35-year-old Black man who was arrested June 12, 2022 on a misdemeanor charge of simple battery in Atlanta, Georgia. Thompson was found dead in his cell at Fulton County Jail after reportedly being eaten alive by insects and bed bugs. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office reported no signs of trauma on the Black man. His cause of death was undetermined, and a severe bed bug infestation was noted. NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick is now lending his assistance to pay for an independent autopsy of LaShawn Thompson's body. Number 5, peace can be defined as the state of being free from danger or injury, the absence of stress or anxiety, a sense of tranquility, calmness, and quietness. Then there's the definition of the peace of God. Galatians 5:22-23 basically says peace is knowing that God is by your side and living that out. Peace is knowing that God is sitting right next to you, no matter what's going on around you. Read more about the peace of God in today's Ministry Monday column. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. One of the best lessons to learn in life is to remain calm in difficult situations. Master it. Yes, ma'am. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians extraordinaire Huggy Lowdown, Chris Paul, and social justice activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. Thank you so much. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.